Back at it again, mathematical brains. My name is Collins McKenzie, and this is another installment of Mind Your Math. Today we're doing something very infamous: solve for x. Now I know you have heard many references to solving for x with regards to relationships, but today we're doing it in a mathematical format. Now let's do this. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to solve for x by factorizing, solve for x by using inequalities, solve for x and y simultaneously, and also solve for x using exponential laws. It's going to be a bumpy ride, but buckle up. Take out your calculators. Let's mind our math. Let's go. Solving for x, it's a question you'll always find in your maths paper 1 question paper. Question 1, very easy. The concept that you have to learn are very easy too. So it's an exciting thing for me to teach right now. We're going to delve in deeper into a practical question for us to understand this thing even better. So what I have here with me is section A, solve for x rounded off to 2 decimal places where necessary. Number 1, x squared equals 5x minus 4. We're given this equation. So the first thing that we notice is that we have to make all the terms go to one side of the equation, of the equal sign, that is. So we take every term from the right hand side and we move it to the left hand side. Now we have x squared minus 5x plus 4. We can factorize x into x. We put x and x in each bracket so that if we multiply x and x, we get x squared, which is the exact thing that we factorized. At the extremes of the brackets, you have to have numbers that if you multiply them, they take you back to the original equation. So in this case, we have x and x at the left extreme bracket. So if we multiply x and x, it will give us x squared. Now with the same logic, at the other end of the bracket, the right extreme part of the bracket, you have to have two numbers that if you multiply them, they will give you 4. And also what dictates what numbers we have at the extreme part of the bracket is the number in between. We call it the middle term. So in this case, we have a middle term of minus 5x. So the numbers that we must have at the extreme part of the brackets must be that if we add them together along with the x's, they must give us a middle term of minus 5x. So which two numbers would give us 4 if we multiply them and minus 5 if we add them? It's 4 and 1. We have negative and negative in between the terms because negative and negative multiplied together will give us positive 4. In this instance, and negative 4 minus 4 gives us minus 5x. So in this case, we have x equals 4 and x equal 1. We have solved for x. Now in order for you to know if you truly have solved for x and your answer is correct, you can substitute whatever value of x you found back into the original equation. If it gives you numbers that are equal on both sides of the equal sign, then that means your x is correct. Let's do that. Let's take, for example, x equals to 4. It becomes 4 squared equals 5 into 4 minus 4. 4 squared is 16. 5 times 4 is 20 minus 4 is 16. The numbers on the right hand side of the equal sign equal the numbers on the left hand side of the equal sign, which means 4 is truly the value of x. Let's test for x equals to 1. It becomes 1 squared equals 5 into 1 minus 4. 1 squared is 1. 5 times 1 is 5 minus 4. It becomes 1. So consequently, the numbers on the left hand side of the equal sign equal the numbers on the right hand side of the equal sign. Therefore, x equals to 1 is also correct. Let's move on to question 2. x into 3 minus x equals to minus 3. This is question 1.2 of your maths paper 1 examination question paper, and many a times it will require you to know the quadratic formula, because it's going to be a question that will require you to write your answer to 2 decimal places. The quadratic formula is x equals to minus b plus minus the root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. We have discussed the quadratic formula in our previous installments, but to give you a clue or a tip on what the quadratic formula is, if you have forgotten, it's a formula that you use in order to get the roots of your quadratic equation. The roots are the factors. So instead of factorizing manually, you use the quadratic formula. It's very easy, efficient, and it's always reliable. Firstly, we must put the equation in the form of an squared, bn plus c equals to 0. For us to use this formula, we firstly have to have this equation in the normal format. So the normal format is ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. We must have the coefficient of x squared, the coefficient of x, and also the constant c that we spoke about in the previous insert. So in this format, we do not have those things. So we must manipulate this one in order to be in this format. 3x minus x equals 3. This was obtained from this equation right here. X into 3, 3x, x into minus x, it becomes minus x squared equals minus 3. Everything must be pushed to one side of the equal sign. We're left with 0 equals to x squared, because x minus x squared was negative on the left hand side of the equal sign. When we take it to the right hand side of the equal sign, it changes signs and it becomes positive, hence x squared. 3x is positive. When it goes to the other side of the equal sign, it becomes negative, minus 3x, and we have minus 3. So in this format, we can plug into the quadratic formula by substituting our b, our a, and our c. Our a here is 1. The coefficient of x squared is 1, because every number or every variable has before it 1. In front of x squared, there's always a number. In front of every number, in fact, there's always 1. We do not write it because it is not very important to write. So hence there is 1 before x squared. So the coefficient of x squared is 1, therefore a becomes 1. And the coefficient of x, which is b, is minus 3. And the constant c is minus 3. We spoke about these things in the previous insert. I'm just going through them to remind you guys. So now inserting into the formula, we have minus b plus minus the root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. We have the values of our variables, minus b minus 3 plus minus the root of b squared is minus 3 squared. Minus 4, a is 1, and c is minus 3. All over 2 into a, which is 1. From here, you plug into your calculator, and your calculator will do the rest. Mine is not doing the rest. Seems like it's doing the most. The other things. So the answer will be whatever you find after plugging into your calculator. We'll find it after the break. We were looking for values of x that satisfy the inequality that we're given, and we ended up having to test these two critical points, which are -3/2 and 1. So we substitute the values back into our original equation and see whether they satisfy the inequality that we're given. It becomes -2 squared plus into -2 minus 3. We chose -2 because -3/2, which is -1,5, is greater than -2. So we're testing whether any number less than -3/2 could satisfy the inequality that we're given. So in the case of -2, it becomes 2 multiplied by -2 squared. 2 multiplied by -2 squared becomes 8, minus 5, which becomes 8 minus 3, it's 3. So 3 is greater than 0, which satisfies our inequality. So over here, the inequality is satisfied. So numbers in between -3/2 and 1. Numbers in between -3/2 and 1, we can choose -1. So when we substitute -1 into our equation to see whether it satisfies -1 squared plus into -1 minus 3. -1 squared is 1 times 2, which is 2. -1 minus 3 is -4. 2 minus 4 is -2. So it doesn't satisfy the inequality. Now we're left with numbers greater than 1. Let's take 2 for instance. Substituting 2 into our original equation. 2 into 2 squared plus 2 minus 3. 2 squared is 4, multiplied by 2 is 8, plus 2 is 10, minus 3 becomes 7. 7 is greater than 0, which means it satisfies our inequality. So only numbers greater than 1 satisfy the inequality, and numbers less than -3/2 satisfy the inequality. Numbers in between do not. So how we represent our answer? X is greater than -3/2 because numbers greater than -3/2 satisfy the inequality, and also less greater than 2. X is greater than 2. Oh, I'm sorry, greater than 1. Shit. Greater than 1. So this means that when x is greater than 1, it satisfies the inequality, and when x is less than -3/2, it also satisfies the inequality. How we represent our answer. So moving on to our next question, another exciting one. We have the very famous solving for x and y simultaneously. So in this case, we have 2x plus y equals 3, and also x squared plus y plus x equals y squared.
No battery, please charge.
The question is determine the value of x and y if they both satisfy the following equation simultaneously. So we have our two questions over here. It's 2x plus y equals 3, and also x squared plus y plus x equals y squared. So we can deem this equation 1 and this equation 2. The first step in solving a question of this stature is that we have to have a third equation. So we make the third equation from our first equation, or the easiest equation. In this case, it's the first equation. So 2x plus y is equals to 3. We change it into the form y equals 3 minus 2x. And we name it equation 3. We put it in the form of a variable equals other terms so that we have something to reference from. So from equation 3, we substitute into equation 2. So whatever value that we have from equation 3, we substitute it back into equation 2. So in this case, it becomes x squared 3 minus 2x all squared. So wherever you see y, you substitute with 3 minus 2x plus x equals 3 minus 2x all squared. So from here, you do your math. You just the basic things. 3 minus 2x plus x equals 3 minus 2x into 3 minus 2x. Please pay careful attention to 3 minus 2x all squared, because it becomes 3 minus 2x into 3 minus 2x when we simplify it. It's 9 minus 6x plus 4x squared. So from here we simplify further. All the terms must be taken to one side of the equal sign. So it becomes minus 9 plus 6x plus 6x minus 4x squared equals 0. So now we group the like terms. X squared and 4x squared are like terms, so we add them together. X minus 4x squared becomes minus 3x squared. 3 minus 9 is minus 6, and they are the only numbers in the equation, so we have minus 6. Minus 2x plus x becomes minus x. Minus x plus 6x becomes 5x. 5x plus 6x becomes 11x. Plus 11x equals to 0. So from here we have a simplified version of the equation. We can remove the negative sign by multiplying both sides of the equation by -1. We have 3x squared plus 6 minus 11x equals to 0. So most of my students, when they get to this point, they like to use the quadratic formula because it's easier and less tedious than using factorizing manually. So take your quadratic formula, x minus b plus minus b squared minus 4ac all over 2a and the calculator is doing the things. So because our calculator is failing us, I'm going to factorize manually. We have 3x squared plus minus 11x plus 6 equals to 0. Then we have 3x, we have 2, we have 3 here, we have 2. 3 times 3 is 9, plus 2 becomes 11. Yes, so we have to have the signs now, minus and minus. So x equals 2 over 3 and x equals 3. So now we have the values of x, 2 of them. We must substitute back into our original equation in order to find the values of y. X is 2 over 3 and x is 3. You can take any one of the equations that you are given and substitute the value of x to find the value of y. 2x. I'm going to go for the easier one so it becomes less work. The first x I'm going to substitute is 3. 2 into 3 plus y equals 3. It becomes 6. So y, 3 minus 6, which is minus 3. So when x is equals to 3, y is equals to minus 3. Let's go to x equals 2 over 3. The very same steps, substitute back into the equation. 2 into 2 over 3 plus y equals 3. We have 4 over 3 plus y equals 3. 3 minus 4 over 3. 9 minus 4 becomes 5 over 3. So when your x is 2 over 3, your y is 5 over 3. And we solved for x and y simultaneously. And that's all from us, folks, from Mind Your Math and from me, Collins McKenzie. We're done with the show, with the lesson. But do follow us on our social media pages, Searchtown Wave, Collins McKenzie. Ask questions, make suggestions, interact with us. We are open for you to do so. And also learn at your own pace. You can rewind, you can pause the videos and, work at your own pace. From us, stay safe, quarantine yourself, and use sanitizers, masks. Goodbye.